Hey y'all, we are back, and we are talking about big brands don't book through IG. This is the third video inside of our series of classes where I am debunking a very disturbing caption that was brought to my attention by one of my former one-on-one model students here at the university. So I am going bar for bar with every single sentence inside of that caption and really just like debunking it and showing you how to succeed in it, so despite what you may already think or what this particular person thought when they were putting it out there. Okay. So again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always drop them in the description box below. Or you can always tap into the Model University official Instagram to see like just the class version and not to get all like the pre-words and all the post thoughts that aren't included like they are here on YouTube. So yeah, we're gonna get started. Again, most of everything that I described inside of the live class that I'm going to be doing here, you'll have access to in the description box, okay? So you will not be left out or by the wayside. Side note, my nose, and it happens like every single time I like talk for long periods of time, but like only when I'm talking for long periods of time sitting in my office. It's like my nose is just like, okay, we're done. I feel like because I don't know, maybe I have a nasally voice. I don't know, y'all, but my nose just be like going through it. And so like if you guys see me go like this or like that, I'm not sick. There's nothing wrong with my nose or anything. It's just it starts itching. It's weird. Anyway, let's get into the class for today and stay tuned after I end this live class for like the wrap up, more tidbits, more insights, some more words from me that I just didn't put in the class. All right, so let's get into it. Do. Notes pulled up. And into the class. Oh, sorry. Big brands don't book through IG. Says who? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, I'm Lola Shell. I am the dean here at Model University. I am an internationally working, multi-agency represented professional model and model coach, which means I do this full time. This is my job. This is what I do. Those are my credentials. So if you guys want to know, like, oh my gosh, why are we talking about this? What's going on? There is an original video inside of this series where I actually touch on this very disturbing piece of content that was brought to my attention by one of my former students. And the entire caption, I break it down in the first video and I tell you guys, like, we're going to be debunking this. So this is the third sentence inside of the caption. And we're really going to be debunking why this isn't true. Like, y'all, way too many people say rhetoric like this and it makes you guys think that, again, there's only one way to model. There's only one way to be a model, that you can't be a model if you don't have this type of representation. It's just like, look, if you really believe that big brands don't book through IG, you are heavily mistaken, okay? Heavily mistaken. So let me first start off with a prime example of a big brand booking a model through Instagram and not through an agency. Her name is Amy Deanna. Okay. Have you heard of her? Probably not, but you've seen her. She was CoverGirl's first vitiligo model. And if you don't know what vitiligo is, think Winnie Harlow. So when the melanin is like not evenly distributed in the skin, there's some losses some places. Yeah, Winnie Harlow. Look Winnie Harlow up. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But Amy Deanna, she was CoverGirl's first vitiligo model. And again, she didn't have some like big, huge agency. In fact, if you try to look up her up now, she's not even like really doing modeling like that. When you see a lot of the work that people were pushing out when this campaign was live, I think like 2018, 2019, there wasn't really any like, oh, she's been on Elle and Vogue, XYZ. Like she was just a model. And not saying that like, oh, you have to be on Elle and Vogue to be a model, but in all of the ways that you guys try to validate, oh, in order to be a model, I have to be in New York Fashion Week. Oh, in order to be a model, I need to have this super high fashion agency. Oh, to be a model, I need to, be in a big city. All of those things that you guys try to use as like examples for why you can't be a model. Amy got CoverGirl, easy breezy, beautiful, CoverGirl, without being this agency represented model. A big brand found her. IGs or otherwise, it was outside of an agency. Doesn't it make you wonder how many other people have had amazing opportunities, work with phenomenal brands, and haven't had an agency? If you need another example, me. Literally me. I got my first like international campaign through Instagram. The company found my look on Insta. They found me on Instagram. They didn't find me through an agency. They found me on Instagram. Instagram. And they used me to launch a product line globally. Guys, I'm not telling you that you have to be the queen or king of Instagram in order to be a successful model. I'm not telling you that you need tens and thousands of people to be taken seriously, but I am here to tell you that anything is possible. Literally, anything is possible. If you get really clear on why you want to be a model, what your goals are, your niche, your market, and your rate, you can build a successful modeling career. And if you want a full breakdown of that, definitely grab your free money-making model guide. It's available to you at the Model University official. Everybody who follows us gets that guide for free. It's a gem, and it'll break down a lot of things that are really needed when you're trying to make money from modeling, okay? So now that I've helped to like debunk that whole like sentence inside of this very inflammatory post caption area, right? If you want to read like the whole caption or post, it's in the original video. So if you go to like the start of the series, I actually read the whole thing twice. So feel free. But now that I've kind of like debunked that on its face, we all know that that's like not true. Like it's not 100% true. And like I told you guys in one of the last classes, if it's a half true, it's a whole lie. Okay. In the words of my grandmother. Now that we got that out the way, we're going to get into the actual class. Okay. So I have 3 points. I think 3 is my favorite number. No, 8 is my favorite number, but 3 is a good number for classes because it's just like 1, 2, 3, and we're done. Right. So we're going to keep the trend going. We got 3 elements that we're going to tap into. So let's get into it now. The first thing I want to discuss is not all models need to work for big brands because careers are not a monolith. What do I mean by that? I've told you guys time and time again in the Model Made podcast, which you guys can listen to for free anywhere that you stream podcasts, inside of the Model University, whether you're in the classes with me one-on-one or you're doing the lifetime course with me and the rest of the students inside of the university, like whatever it is, I'm always telling you guys that there is space for everyone in the modeling industry, meaning anyone can be a model. You just have to find what works best for you. Okay. So when I say you have to find what works best for you, everybody's not meant to be a high fashion model. Everybody's not meant to be a runway model. Every model's not meant to do print work. Every model's not meant to do fit work. Every model's not meant to do swimwear. Every model is different because every body is different. Literally every person and every body is different. Just because a model you admire or somebody you look up to works with these brands that you admire and look up to does not mean that that has to be what your career is. And I say that not to be like, oh, not everybody can attain that. But if you look at really why you want to be a model, some of that stuff isn't it's irrelevant. If you want to become a model so that you could show others that you are beautiful and people who look like you are beautiful, you don't need to be on Vogue to do that. You don't need to be on a runway to do that. You can literally do that by being in a swim campaign. You could do that by doing commercial work. You can do that by being a fitness ambassador. Like you can do that so many other ways. It doesn't have to be in a magazine or on a runway. If you want to show size inclusivity, it doesn't have to be in a magazine and it doesn't have to be on a runway. You could do that in almost any other niche, honestly, whether that be fit modeling, fitness modeling, beauty modeling. Like there's over 20 modeling niches. If you know why you're doing this, you could find different ways to make that a success. It doesn't have to be the same way for everyone. So when this person brought up that big brands don't book through IG, Who says every model needs a big brand to be validated? Who said every model needs a big brand in order to be paid? Who said every model needs a big brand in order to have a lucrative modeling career? Every model is different. One model might just want to have pick-me-up work every weekend, doing something that they think is easy, modeling. Another model might really just want to strut their stuff on a runway. And so they just want to make sure that they're walking in regional fashion weeks because it makes them feel confident. Cool. Another model might really like to travel. So they might do trade show circuits, promo modeling. And that's fine. Every model doesn't need a big brand to be validated. Okay. If that makes sense to you, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, please put a 1 in the chat, because I need you guys to understand that like everybody's modeling career is different. You are different from everybody. Your version of success and what actually matters to you can be different, and you can still be successful in that. The model who just wants to do a few jobs a month and they think that's successful can do that without a big brand. A model who wants to work consistently and is okay doing like e-com work can do that and be successful, and they didn't need a big brand. When you define success for yourself, you're not looking for a big brand to validate you. You're looking for things that align with why you're modeling and will help you to accomplish that. Okay, so whether you're watching this live or replay, definitely drop a 1 in the chat. If this doesn't make sense to you, don't worry. You can absolutely drop a 0 and I'll follow up with why. Okay, now the next thing is when it comes to big brands, they don't all book through every single agency. Some of them have stronger relationships with one agency than another. Also, some of them, and this sounds like really weird to say, but sometimes they'll go through like their advertising agency to do the casting. So sometimes there are jobs that are done that aren't publicly shared. I'll try to like paint the picture. So is an example from my career. The international job that I did, actually no, because I already told you guys that story. There's more of that story on the podcast. So I'm going to give you guys some fresh intel. Okay. So I've done work for the SLS, the hotel. I've done work for the St. Regis, the hotel. I've done work for the W, the hotel. All of those jobs were not posted publicly. I got those jobs because I worked with the production company that put together those shoots. Those jobs were never posted. There are plenty of agency models that if they were not known by the production company, would not have been submitted for the job. So when we're talking big brands, there's multiple ways to work with them that have nothing to do with an agency. Oh, and for the record, that company that I was just telling you guys about, yeah, the one that booked me for the SLS, booked me for the W Hotel, booked me for the St. Regis multiple times, right? They were doing that before I had an agency. They were doing that when I got my first agency, and they were doing that since I've been multi-listed. I've worked with these world-renowned brands outside of my agency. In fact, some of the models that I've worked with on these shoots did not have agencies, and they were still able to work with these big brands. Oh, and another caveat, that production company, I found them through Instagram. Yeah, and when it comes to me getting booked, they will show the client updated Instagram content of me from my Instagram to see if I'm a good fit for them. Yeah. Oh, and it's paid. Of course it's paid. And the photos go on their actual sites, websites, inside of their hotels, on their social media. And I didn't need an agency for that. And those are big brands. If that's just enough for you right there, you can go ahead and drop a 2 in the chat, whether you're watching this live, the replay, because I really, and I guess this is how you guys can like start to tell the hat is on. So you already know how we're going. The OGs understand when the hat is on, it's serious. This is why I made a whole series about this caption for this post, because as somebody who is actively living a full-time modeling career, like this is my full-time job. As somebody who had to face the agency rejection and make it work anyway, as somebody who had to book their own jobs, as somebody had to keep putting themselves out there, as somebody who rode through COVID, still doing modeling full time, like when people say things that I have personally overcome in my modeling career in today's day and age, it's infuriating. It's infuriating because there's going to be models out there, and you might be one of them, who don't know anything else. You're just starting out in your career. You've tried old school methods and they haven't worked for you. You've done, a Barbizon or a John Casablanca training and you got nowhere from it. You spent thousands of dollars on classes and a portfolio that doesn't work for you. You've invested and you haven't seen any returns. And so when somebody says, oh, big brands don't book models through IGs, and I personally have had to book big brands through IG, I personally have found a way to work with brands through the strength of my IG, modeling and all, it's infuriating. Because if you're not aware of the possibilities, if you've never met somebody who's done it, if you've never seen somebody who has done it again, documented it, and taught it, and then did it again after that, over a span of time, you would think that it doesn't exist. You would think that it's impossible. You would limit yourself because you've never had somebody tell you it's possible and show it to you. The whole reason that I started the university was to really make sure that models understood what was possible, right? Over 1,000 models. I have, from the time that I started the university in 2020 till now, over 1,000 models have gotten the materials and the information that I have shared. That's not including the 10,000 plus downloads from the podcast from models all over the world. That's not including the models who have followed us on social media, who followed me in my personal journey on my personal page. This is something that I went through personally when I started my modeling journey, of being misinformed, miseducated, and having outdated ideals of what it really meant to be a model. And I fought to make sure that for me and my career, I was able to build it from the ground up and still stand on it and make money and be a success in my own eyes and into some of your eyes as well to this day. So when I see people today telling you things that would have derailed me when I first started, the very same things that were told to me when I first started, and I was able to overcome them, and I documented how to do so, and I'm teaching other models how to do so, whether it's working with them one-on-one or inside of the lifetime course where I literally just teach you month after month different ways to make money as a model. Like, I'm teaching this in real time. Telling people to this day that big brands don't hire through IG just because you haven't been hired through IG, just because you've never gotten a brand deal through IG, just because you've never made money legitimately through your IG presence, just because you have never had to do it through IG, it's terrible. It's terrible. And it's terrible because it's limiting the ideas, the mindsets, the opportunities, the think out the boxness of new models. It's killing it. And it's breeding a whole new wave of models who are still thinking like it's 1992. Like it's 2001 and there can only be one Black model on the runway. Like, you're dating people's mindsets on an ever expanding industry. And as we go through like future classes, I'm going to have a whole class where I'm like breaking down like the old mindset of modeling versus the new mindset of modeling, because I had a whole argument, like a 45-minute to an hour argument with somebody who started like their modeling career in like the 90s and it's like transitioned into acting. And we had a back and forth. And this is somebody who like, was in South Beach in its heyday, when it was something to be, able to like walk into clubs in South Beach, et cetera, et cetera. And when you were, there was only a finite amount of models and you had to have an agency to be an actual model. Like, they come from that era. So we'll have that whole breakdown when the hat is fully on. When the hat is fully on, when you no longer see my hair, we're gonna have that conversation. Yeah, because it got heated. And to this day, they are still in that mindset. And that's how I know why and where this person is coming from with this caption. But I still need to prepare new people to understand this is incorrect. Big brands don't book models through IG. They might not have booked you through IG, but they do. And this is how we get into the third point. Okay. So second point, I was really I know I went a little tangent, sorry, y'all. Sorry. But I know in that space, I was telling you guys, sometimes big brands don't book through the traditional means, which is like they're not booking through agencies, or they have a specific agency that they work with. And if you're not signed with them, doesn't matter how good you are and how great of a fit you are, you're never going to see the casting. There's also some big brands who literally just go through their production company, go through the advertising agency, go through the marketing house that they've booked out for this campaign. And they don't do anything with the agencies that they've already contacted. It's handled by somebody else. So limiting it and saying like, oh no, IG's not a good, it's not going to take you anywhere. It's you got to let that go. And this is how we get to the last point, right? Though they may not book through Instagram, so hypothetically speaking, right? And actually, no, not even hypothetically speaking, going back to my example of like my first international job literally being through Instagram. And then the second example I gave you guys, which is like me doing the SLS, the W, the St. Regis hotels, all throughout the strength of my Instagram. This is what I is going to illustrate it for you, right? Okay, so though they might not book through Instagram, your Instagram may be the difference between you booking a job or not. So let's talk about it. The first one out of those three that I booked, I think was the W. If it wasn't the W, it was the St. Regis, right? The company I booked it through does a lot of their like production for different elements for the hotel. Okay, sometimes it's for their ads, sometimes it's for their website, sometimes it's for their social media, sometimes it's just for their digital media overall, sometimes it's a full campaign. It just depends. They're a full service agency. And by agency, I don't mean modeling agency. I mean like marketing, like digital marketing. Okay, so they do the production. They have their own roster of models. A lot of those models that they find, they do castings on Instagram. Like, this person, the title of this entire thing, what we are debunking is brands don't book through Instagram. But here is a company that this brand is using, and they're getting their models through casting calls that they're hosting on Instagram. So even if the brand is not booking you directly from Instagram, Instagram is a gateway that you're using to be the deciding factor for whether or not this brand is going to work with you. How would this, and let's company, digital agency, models on Instagram. The company is not looking for the talent. They are employing a digital agency to produce the content that they need, whether it's, again, anything marketing related for any of their digital outlets. This digital agency is going out and finding the talent. They are leveraging Instagram to find the talent. They are using Instagram to show the client who they have available, what these people look like right now, what they do, different evidence of the work that they've done in the past. Instagram. So even though the middleman is the digital agency, Instagram is still where this digital agency is pulling the talent from for this client. That is what happened. In the examples that I gave you guys, the W, the SLS, the St. Regis, there's other hotels and entities as well, but for those, I'm booking off the strength of my Instagram. This company knows me off the strength of my Instagram. This company is making a deciding factor off of my Instagram. Now, granted, when the middleman, which is the digital agency, asks me, hey, are you available for X, Y, and Z? They've already reviewed my Instagram. They've already pulled shots from my Instagram to show the client. They're just making sure I'm available. And if you guys have ever worked with me one-on-one or you're inside of Model Money, we go through like the process of actually booking a client. So either way, I break that down when you're actually in the university. But when the client is making a deciding factor, they are being shown my Instagram. So for this person, the original culprit of this entire series, to say, big brands don't book through Instagram, it's misleading, it's inflammatory, it's a half-truth. And y'all know what I said from the last classes, a half-truth is like a whole lie. And that's on my grandmama. You have to start to let go of a lot of the things that people are telling you that's outdated information. If somebody has never done it for themselves, it's easy for them to tell you that you can't do it. If I was sitting over here and I was just like, oh, you don't have an agency? Oh, you can't be a model. It's easy for me to say that if I've never done any work for myself without my agency. It's easy for me to tell you what you can't do if I haven't done it. Which is why inside the university, I always tell models, please tell me why you feel like you can't be a model so I can go ahead and prove it to you. That's how I learned how to do remote modeling. I teach it way in depth inside of Model Money. So that's where I teach you how to make money as a model in 1 week or less. And it's a lifetime course. So as I keep updating it, you keep getting updates, monthly masterclasses, etc. But so many models were trying to tell me like, oh, it's my location, it's my location, it's my location. I learned how to remote model. I literally learned how to make money as a model from my house. I didn't have to go anywhere. So when models want to tell me like, oh, well, you know, I don't have a big IG following. Okay. My IG following is not important to the clients who are booking me through the strength of my Instagram. Why? Because they just want to make sure I actually look how I look and I can do what I can do for their brand. That's what was important. Can Instagram be leveraged in different ways? Of course. But to feel like Instagram is the only way to get paid clients is incorrect. To feel like you can't get a client just off of Instagram is incorrect. To feel like big brands are going to overlook you if you don't have an agency is incorrect. And I really hope that through this class, you guys understand it. Like, if it makes sense, you can drop a 3. If it doesn't, drop a 0, whether you're watching it live or on the replay, because I want to make sure that it's crystal clear that this whole big brands don't book through Instagram is BS. It's BS. As somebody who has actively gotten booked multiple times in multiple ways through Instagram or off the strength of my Instagram, please don't go forward thinking that if you don't have an agency, you can't get work. If you don't have an agency, big brands aren't going to be able to find you. If all you have is an Instagram, is that, you know, you're going to be overlooked and nobody's going to take you seriously. Baby, when every single agency rejected me when I first started modeling, Instagram is what I had to show people what I did well and why you should work with me. It's how I got some of my first clients. It's how I grew my network and my team. And it's how I got a lot of campaigns that would have never come through an agency. So please don't move forward thinking that there's only one way for you to be successful and that if you don't have an agency, you're counted out. Please don't do that. And if you still feel that way, please go back and watch I think I put the title, I've been titling these after the comments inside of that caption. So if you still feel like if you don't have an agency, you can't be successful, go back and watch the freelance modeling only gets you so far. Go back and watch that class and it'll definitely help you out. Okay. All right, so that's everything for this class. Y'all see, it's getting longer and longer. I'm going stronger and stronger. The hat is on. The hat is on. That's all I got to say, okay? The next class we're going to go through is you got to be signed. If y'all thought I went in on this one, baby, you're in for a time the next class. Yeah. So until then, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely drop them in the comments below on the replay or DM us directly at the Model University Official here on Instagram. Or if you just follow us outright and you kind of want that free money-making model guide that we offer here, it'll be sent right to you right after you click follow, okay? I will see you guys in the next class. And trust me, the hat is on, okay? I'll see you guys then. Bye. Y'all, I'm ready. I'm ready. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. I was going bar for bar over here. Bar for bar. And now we're getting into, oh, you have to be signed. Ooh, baby. I have a lot of ammo for this one. I have a lot of ammo. And the reason I have a lot of I have a lot of ammo is because I've literally lived this. I never make my students do anything that I haven't done. I've never held a student to a higher regard than I hold myself. And when I was telling them, like, this is how I came across remote modeling, I was telling the truth. I literally started remote modeling because people kept telling me that their location. Like, my man. No, your location is not holding you back. Lack of information and action is holding you back, not your location. During COVID, remote modeled. After COVID, remote modeled. To this day, remote modeling, still doing it, still making money. y'all have got to check the credentials of these people y'all taking advice from. Gotta do it. Gotta do it. I, for one, if you ever check my credentials, I mean, I got credentials that I don't forgot about, honestly. But nonetheless, I know what I did to get to this point. I know the brands that I've worked with. I know the celebrities that I've been around and worked with. I know the names that have been on my checks. Okay. I know the work I have coming down the pipeline. What are we talking about? There's some stuff that like I be having to like remind myself. I be having to like I have to like calm myself because it's just like the work that I have done and I just haven't put out on Instagram for the world to see is ridiculous. Like I joke with people all the time. Like the people who have like known me for a while, I could stop modeling today and keep putting out material for like the next year. That's how much, like 10,000 hours of training, me. And all I do is keep doing it, keep refining, keep elevating, keep refining, keep elevating, keep documenting, keep showing it. That's how you guys get the model with me days here on YouTube. If you guys want to see more of them, I have my own personal YouTube page where I actually take you to like the model lifestyle, where I'm like showing you guys how I do my self-care days, how I do vacations, like how I keep myself up as a model, the jobs that I'm doing that allow me to record, because some of them it's an NDA, child. It's an NDA. You can't record anything, no recording, no BTS. Like it'll say that in the paperwork and on your call sheet. So like I share what I can when I can. And I'm just like refining the process of documenting it and showing it to you guys. And then the university, that's where I break it down. On social media, I can show you guys, right? I can like show you what I'm saying. But in the university, that's where I actually say what I'm saying. That's actually how I like document everything. And I walk you through step by step. Here's the platform you're going to use. Here's what you're going to say. Here's how you're going to list this. Here's what you're going to put in the description. Here's how you're going to reach out to people. Like that's where I break it down. That's why I have the university, because there's some things that honestly, and this might sound really weird, but if you're in, so sorry. So if you are aware of like higher education, there are some things that you will not take seriously unless you pay for it. And even then, if it's not your money, you still don't put a lot of value on it. I say it like this. The people who went to school on scholarship versus the people who were going to school paying out of pocket, two different types of people. The people who are paying out of pocket to go to school, they are showing up. They're not missing these assignments. They're not like, the priorities are different because it's their money. They are working for this money and they are paying this money to get this outcome. A lot of stuff like on, like, especially like on YouTube, people will digest it, but very few will take action because they didn't pay anything for it. They didn't invest anything in it. There's no value associated to it. And you might think it's really valuable, but how many people are actually like action-based? The Model Made podcast is free. There are so many gems over the 6+ seasons of the Model Made podcast. It's ridiculous. You could get like, if people were really serious and they just binge listen to everything, do you know how much you could get done as a model just off of the strength of the podcast? Please, please. This is why I do not try to convince anybody, oh, invest in yourself as a model. Oh, you know, work. I don't do that. I don't do that. And when people feel like, oh, you're just doing stuff just to make money, first of all, have you seen my free stuff? And every time I get into the amount of things that are available from the university for free, people go silent. Stop playing with me. These classes alone, what I'm breaking down in these classes alone, people are not talking about this. People are not living this. People are not being honest with you. People are not doing the research to show you other people who have done it. Stop playing with me. By the time, like, I challenge anybody. If y'all were to go through every piece of free content I've ever put out on the internet, by the time you get to the paid content, if you would have applied what you learned for free, you'd be able to afford what I'm charging you for. I mean, you could afford it right now. That's not the point. The point is, the stuff that I put out for free has made people money. The knowledge that I've shared for free has changed people's perspectives. It's changed how people look at their careers. It's changed how people see opportunities. It's changed people. Which is why moving forward in the university, debunking this is so easy for me because I've lived this. I am living this. I help people who are living in this space right now. Like, I built my career, and I built it before agencies were checking for me and looking at me and validating me. I did it off the strength of this is something that I want to do and I know I can do it. And a person like that is dangerous. And the person is me. It could be you too. I don't know. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, thanks for watching, and drop them in the comments below. You know what to do. I will link all of the things that I mentioned in this class below. So I'm not gonna lie to you. It's probably gonna be, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be general, but like I'm gonna do the general steps of making sure that you guys can follow the university on Instagram, the link for the guide that you guys can grab for free. All of that is going to be in the description box. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say I get lazy, but I shift a lot of things around on the university. So will this class always be available on Instagram? Maybe, maybe not. Will this class always be up on the podcast? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So I'm going to give you guys the general access to where these things can be, i.e. the link for the Model Made podcast, and then you could find it from there. The link to the Instagram, the link to the free guide, and then like, you know, the link to YouTube so you can like see all the other videos as well. But it's, you know, I'm just gonna keep it as general as possible, because as things, you know, get updated, get removed, get moved around, you might find this 5 years down the line. I don't know. But I do just want to make sure that the staple and pillar outlets are true. And those pillars will always be the university's website, the university's Instagram, fingers crossed, as long as Instagram doesn't shut down this one too. I don't know why it shut down the last one, but the Instagram, the website, the podcast, and YouTube. But we have to work on YouTube, because YouTube is a whole beast, and I don't know. But most of those links will be usable. Okay. And with that, I'm stop chatting. Y'all can go ahead. I'll see you guys in the next class. Bye.